Mondays at this time, Spencer. Of course, we welcome in great gang from the Mason County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Casey Salisbury, Ryan Spurling, Chief Deputy there too. What's up, guys? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
These were busy last night. Lots of calls and
early
service,
evening,
right?
Yeah, I actually thought one of the guys was pulling in my driveway to talk to me, and he turned and he was gone in a flash with his lights on, and it turned out it was a stolen that just went by. We was really busy last night in about a 45-minute period. I think the state ended up taking the car that went down on Highway 3 that went over the bank by the bay shore there somewhere.
Wow.
We had an issue of Thurston County had an issue of a hit and run with a child.
Yeah.
And there's just all kinds of stuff going on.
Wow.
All in a short amount of time. We were really, really busy.
Do you notice that kind of is something that happens there? It's a kind of a lull a little bit, and then a lot of things happen at once, and then it lulls, or is everything these days pretty always going on?
I think, and I'm not on the road. You ask the guys on the road, I don't think it ever really slows down because there's always a follow-up to do.
Yeah.
If they're not handling something that's emergent, there's 4 or 5 things that they're trying to take statements for, or getting out to make a contact on some other thing that's happening in the community. My concern over it is, and we brought this up years ago when I left here, is that we didn't have time for proactive patrol just to go out and patrol through neighborhoods and things. And we're right back to it now with that shortage of deputies and staff. Our people just going from place to place to place. It's real tough to get a time to just proactive patrol and roll through neighborhoods and things.
And that's important too, because bad guys out there, they all of a sudden they'll see a sheriff's office vehicle roll through, and they go, "Whoa, okay." So there's, and they never quite know when you may be coming through, or things like that. You don't have.
That's
the
a
opportunity
huge. I don't think people think that serious. That is a huge issue. The more times you're in a neighborhood, the less likely it is there's going to be crime there.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a place where there's a police officer standing on every corner, guess where your crime rate's at? It's not there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's where there's not.
That's the big difference between proactive and
Yeah.
reactive policing.
Yeah.
We want to be on the proactive side, but just sheer call volume and number of deputies hasn't allowed us to be on the proactive side as much as we would like.
We've been talking a lot about those call numbers and things like that. Up 4,000 last year from the year before. What are some of the other details that we haven't gotten to in the past couple conversations about types of calls that have come in, and if you're seeing any different trends? Certain crimes are down, but other crimes are up, or things like that?
We had an increase, obviously, last year. If you remember last summer, we had an increase in arsons.
Yeah.
Over the year before. Not significant, but it was enough to make a difference for us. We actually had a decrease in burglaries overall for the county, but in the last 30 days we've had an increase in burglaries, and some of the residents have seen that, and we're trying again. Our deputies have been working really hard. One thing that a lot of people need to know is those cameras help us tremendously.
Sure.
When a citizen has a camera out in the street or somewhere where it's getting a license plate number and a type of a vehicle, even if the person covers their face up, different cameras within the neighborhood, and they ask the people in the neighborhood, do you have a camera? Did you see something strange? And they come to us with a video with a license plate on it. It just helps us tremendously in getting these things solved. So,
and those are becoming more common too. A lot of people getting those kind of Ring doorbells, and
more affordable, more available, easier to put up.
Yeah.
Easier to use. Bad guys are unfortunately covering their faces and doing that type of stuff, but if you have the whole neighborhood canvassed, they really can't do much about it, and sometimes they're not as thorough as they think they are.
A lot of times too, on these, a number of years ago, we had some burglaries going on in the area, and somebody produced some photos off of a camera that they had. And I don't know if this is an actual statistic, but in the law enforcement world, we always say that 1% of the people cause 99% of the problems. And generally, if you've got a photograph of somebody knows them.
Sure.
And oftentimes, like, we had one come in that as soon as we got that, every one of our detectives, when the paper went down, went, "Oh, I know who that is," knew every one of them in the picture.
Wow.
So it just kind of goes
flyers.
like that, the frequent flyers. And you can almost judge by when somebody gets out if the crime rate's going to go up or down. And hence the problem with not being able to hold people accountable in jail. You got that same element of people just wandering around the community all the time.
Was it Thurston County or Mason County, the sheriff's office, that they were working on a deal for you to be able to offer your video services to them. It was a form or something that they were going to fill. Did you guys familiar with that over in Thurston County?
I think
maybe?
Thurston was looking at that at one time. I'm not sure if they've done it. It's kind of staff intensive. Somebody's got to sit there all day and look at the videos. But
Yeah.
if there's a certain thing in a certain area, it is worthwhile. I mean, if it's in a business or a residence, you know, when you have somebody's face, or you can tell by the way they walk or their clothes or whatever else it is, there's a lot of good clues in there.
Yeah. We've had our Ring doorbell here at the radio station for a few years now, and over the course of the time, we'll get a notification on my phone that something's going on, and I'll log in and look, or afterwards, the video's been recorded, and I've sent it off to Shelton Police, and they've looked at the video, and just the same, they go, oh, yeah, we're familiar with that individual around the area, and that, along with a big old sign that says, you're under surveillance.
Yeah.
Those things really seem
We've
to...
got, I won't tell you which building, but we've got one of our public schools. I can click on my phone right now and look down every single hallway, out in the parking lots and everything. So if something's going on in that school,
Yeah.
as soon as we hear it, we can log in, punch the button, and we can monitor those cameras all over on the weekend and everything else to see what's going on.
What are some other numbers that we're looking at here, Ryan?
It was pretty consistent on our child abuse cases, our fraud cases, our possession of stolen property. Robbery was up, from 3 to 9. So you give a percentage, it's not necessarily a
Sure.
true representation. Well, it's up 70%.
Yeah.
Well, it went from 3 to 9, whatever the percentage is. So you have to look at the real numbers. Our sex offenses were down. Our thefts was up just slightly. And our vehicle thefts were almost exactly the same over the year. And the issue for us is we got to be able to put some of these people in jail.
Yeah.
And with all of the outstanding warrants and with the minor offenses, when we can't put them in jail, our crimes are going to stay pretty consistent or go up, if anything else. Once we found that as soon as we start putting all of those people in jail, our crimes go down because they're often the people that are committing those crimes. So getting a new jail or an availability to outsource at a greater number is just huge to us and our ability to be proactive in our crime statistics.
Yeah, we talked to Jail Chief Hansen about this over the years, for sure, off and on. It seems as though that this point in time, there's more conversations than there have been in the past about perhaps trying to figure out how to bring a new facility around to the area. Are you sensing that? Are we getting somewhere?
Well,
in
I think
talks?
people are starting to listen. We've been really talking about this since I left here in 1986. We couldn't put people in jail. Then they retrofitted the jail to double stack in the cells. I think it's only built for like 45 people.
Mm-hmm.
And you've walked through there.
Yep.
And it's not changed. And based on our population level, how much our population's gone up, it's been very, very clear. We know that a few years ago, we had a theory that if we outsourced and could actually hold people accountable, the crime rate would come down. And it came down, depending on where you're looking, about 28% when we were able to put people in jail. It was the first time in many, many years that the crime rate started to fall in Mason County. And as soon as we weren't able to outsource people to put people in jail anymore, and when that was pulled from us, from all the law enforcement agencies, it really hurt us, and that hurts the state patrol. It hurts that you've heard Chief Moody. He's been before the county commission a couple of times down there, expressing his concern over it. It affects the city of Shelton, it affects the Washington State Patrol, it affects us, the game department, DNR.
Sure.
Nobody can put anybody in there.
Switching gears just a little bit here, but another way to help support law enforcement. I know we're all three of us getting ready for the big polar plunge.
Big day
coming
last
up
Friday.
On February 9th. We got the Hood Canal Lions polar plunge coming up. You guys both going to be jumping this year? Ryan, you missed out last year, no?
I was gone last year.
No,
My
we'll get you
wife
to
had
jump twice
scheduled
this year, then.
a vacation, so I was gone last year.
How are the fundraising?
Well,
efforts coming
we had a
forward?
great day Friday. We had obviously a great speaker Friday with Cloyd Steiger, and we were honored 7 people. How many did we do?
We had 7, I believe. Yeah, I have to
7
go back and
recipients. You can
count.
look on our Facebook page. People receiving life-saving awards, and on that day we raised pretty close to $500 just in that one group for our. Not quite there yet, but we're really close to $500 that hour for our polar bear plunge. So we've got some money to go in. I heard a rumor that there's a fellow out in Union that's really really laid it down for this one this year.
Yeah.
So
Competitive.
we're really excited about putting that money in. And the other thing to throw in on that is that the money that's brought in on this, it goes back to benefit all the law enforcement and firefighters.
Yeah.
It's all the emergency service group that goes back to benefit, not just the sheriff's office.
It's a huge event. 10 years now in the making. It's always a lot of fun, and it's on the 9th from 11 to 2 out at the Alderbrook. We'll be jumping all
They
throughout
have clam
the day.
chowder, hot
Yeah,
cider, good
you
stuff
you
for
warm
us.
right back
I'll be
up.
manning the soup lines and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of us have to be on
You're
dry
not,
land.
you're not jumping with us?
No, some of us have to stay on dry land to do the Facebook Live. for
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
The
I know how he
sacrifices
is.
you make.
Him and Troy are kind of cut from the same cloth.
Oh,
on
Troy's
that
not
one.
jumping this
I
year?
don't know. I'm not. I'll just put it out there. He better be jumping. We'll just say that
Okay,
right
well, I
now.
hope he's listening.
Ryan, Casey, always good to talk with you guys. We'll continue to look more and keep our focus on the sheriff's office.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you
Thank you,
guys.
Jeff.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.